Hi, Wes. Me coming from Asia Sky Media. We have a live here with the people from Hong Kong and Asia, and a lot of Asian community will watch this channel also.
Outstanding.
This is Wes Hallman. He is running for Congress CA 28。呢位咧就係 Wes Hallman 啊，佢咧嘅對手咧就係現任就係有上過新聞嘅叫做趙美心嘅。咁咧就係趙美心咧就係反Trump啊，就成日咧喺加州嗰度咧就喺度挑起好多呢個叫做亞裔嘅仇恨啊，其實就係有啲咧就係即係吹大咗嘅。anyway， 咁呢個趙美心咧就係反美嘅，亦都係共產黨嘅好大嘅棋子。咁呢位Wes Hallman 咧就要去同呢個趙美心咧就對冚噶啦。So I just tell the audience from Hong Kong and China that you are running against the incumbent Judy Chu, who
Correct.
is we the Asian community view her as a very obvious communist puppet. That's how we see her.
Okay.
So we're very interested in your running, and audience want to learn more about you and how you view this communist infiltrating, taking over California and the American political arena.
Yeah. So first off, thanks for interviewing me here and being here today. It's a great opportunity to talk to the community. So a little bit about me. I'm fourth generation from here in this area. My great grandparents came here. My mom grew up right here in Alhambra, San Gabriel, and up in Arcadia. And my dad went to school in Temple City, and I was born in Arcadia and grew up in Glendora. After high school, I went off to the Air Force Academy. So I was in the United States Air Force first for college, and then 27 years active duty flying fighter aircrafts. I flew F-15Cs and F-22s, including an assignment in Okinawa, Japan. So I was flying F-15s there when I was a squadron commander. But my last job in the Air Force was as the senior Air Force officer in the House of Representatives. That means in Congress, I was the senior member of the Air Force that I advised our Secretary of the Air Force and the Chief of Staff of the Air Force on Congress, and I advised congressional members on things having to do with the United States Air Force and national security policy. My very first meeting with a member of Congress was actually with Judy Chu, because I always kept my home of record here in Glendora, and she was my congresswoman. She was on the ballot when I voted every year. I will be honest, I voted against her, but she was still my congresswoman, so I went to go meet with her. I got about 90 seconds with her. She asked me who I was, where I was from. She made no comments about national security or about the Air Force. Seemed to not care about that. She found out I was from Glendora and said that we had a great high school band, which is true. I was the drum major of it, but that's not what I was there to talk to her about. So that was a very disappointing meeting. And then I went to go look more into her and how she was representing our piece of America, this piece that we're standing in right now of America that she represents. And the fact is that in 13 years in Congress, she's done extremely little. She's passed one sponsored bill to rename a post office in Sierra Madre. And otherwise, she's just been a yes vote to everything that the left-wing Democrats want to do. She's a senior member of the House Progressive Caucus that advocates for things that, frankly, are against the interests of America and Americans and our youth that's growing up. And maybe it's good that she's completely ineffective as a congresswoman, because if she did pass some of the things that she wants to pass, we'd be in an even worse situation right now. So when it comes to the Chinese Communist Party and its influence globally, we've seen it grow. I saw it when I was in Okinawa. I've been in China 3 different times. I went there as a White House fellow. So for a whole year, I served as a senior advisor to a cabinet level secretary as part of the White House Fellows Program. So we actually visited China in 2005, and we visited in Beijing and in Shanghai. One of our meetings was in Beijing at the Chinese Communist Party School, which is a senior school for members of the Chinese Communist Party. And we actually met with a group, again, this is in 2005, when I will say that things were not quite as strict as they are right now in China. And we got to have some very interesting conversations. And it seemed like there was a pent-up energy for freedom there at the time. When we were at the Chinese Communist Party school, they were actually looking at the rule of law in China to try to figure out how to incorporate it. But you could tell they couldn't do it because if you have rule of law, that means law is above party, and that will never happen there. And frankly, the influence coming back here has grown enormously over time, to the point where we are starting to self-censor as a society. So people ask me, Wes, you're a fighter pilot, are you going to go watch the Top Gun movie? Frankly, I'm not going to watch the Top Gun movie because the Chinese Communist Party said that they couldn't release that movie if the lead actor had a Republic of China flag on the inside of his fighter pilot jacket. They also made him take off a patch. I also will not watch the NBA because they apologized to the Chinese Communist Party. And we saw what happened with John Cena. That the fact is, we're already feeling less free because we're self-censoring because we want to please somebody on the other side of the Pacific Ocean. And the fact is that cannot remain. We are a free and open society. We are the leaders of the rules-based international system, and we need to reclaim that mantle as a country. That was a really long answer. I'm sorry about that.
I try my best. OK， 好，佢就話啦，我咧喺呢個空軍嗰度服役過啦，咁啊10幾年啦。How many years in
27 years in the Air Force.
係27年嘅。咁我揸過呢個F-15啦、F-22啦，我亦都咧喺呢個沖繩咧嗰度係駐過軍嘅。咁我之前咧就係因為趙美心咧就喺我個區 Judy Chu 係喺我個區，咁我就同佢會過面嘅。咁佢咧過去13年裏面咧都係冇通過咩一啲利民嘅政策，只係通過一條嘅啫。咁我同佢會面嗰陣時咧，佢咧就乜都冇同我講，佢淨係咧即係俾咗分幾鐘我。佢知道我喺呢度土生土長喺 Glendora 嗰度，佢就話咧，即係我嗰個高中咧嗰個即係學校個 school band 樂隊咧就係一個好嘅樂隊。咁我覺得真係好失望啦，對住趙美心咁樣嘅話，佢根本就係咧唔去理我哋民生啊、政事啊咁樣嘅。咁跟住啦，對於呢個中國嘅擴張咧，我哋係好清楚，我係親眼見到嘅，因為咧我喺沖繩都見到呢件事嘅發生，而我係代表呢個白宮咧，有係去過中國3次，去咗北京1次喺2005年，亦都有去過上海嘅。咁我係代表白宮嚟到係去同佢哋做一個交流嘅。咁當時2005年嘅即係中國咧，就係都仲有尚可一點點嘅空間同自由嘅，因為佢哋咧都想嘗試去推行咧一個即係法制嘅社會，但係咧我哋咧去溝通過之後，知道咧係唔會實行到，因為咧當佢哋有法治嘅時候咧，即係話咧法治咧就係會高過個黨㗎啦。咁啦，我哋即係知道係冇可能會發生嘅。咁而共產黨嗰個影響力咧喺呢度咧就係日益嘅嚟到係嚴重，我哋好清楚。我梗係唔會去睇Top Gun啦，我梗係唔會去睇 NBA 咧，因為佢哋即係我唔睇Top Gun，因為Top Gun喺度。Did they take out the badge eventually?
They took off the patch and the flag.
They did eventually.
They did it. So they censored themselves.
所以咧，我哋咧就係。我咧唔會支持Top Gun，我唔會支持 NBA， 因為咧佢哋咧就向中共跪嘅。呢個我哋美國咧慢慢咧都會失去自由，因為我哋咧喺度自我審查。咁所以我咧就決定就係出嚟咧嚟到係競選咧嚟到係去即係捍衞翻我哋美國嘅價值。So I decide to run to protect the American values.
Yeah, and also to spread them to all Americans, that we're all here, not because, one thing that's the great thing about America is that to be an American doesn't matter what your DNA is. It matters what you believe in and whether you believe in those values that are enshrined in the Declaration of Independence and our Constitution.
我哋咧就係唔相信咧，即係呢個我哋唔信呢個叫做基因啊。我哋信嘅咧就係一個普世價值，我哋信嘅係一個信念，係一個自由嘅信念。咁我哋係唔睇膚色嘅，我哋係睇大家係即係咪有一個即係愛自由嘅心。
即係對中國對美國嘅滲透同埋擴張，
你可以自己發揮你要問嘅嘢，唔好咁快翻譯。
哦，
最後尾先翻譯，咁唔使佢喺度等。
好，係 Lucy。
唔係，我覺得佢呢一次嘅選舉咧，我感覺到呢一位先生咧，佢都真係意識到中共對美國嘅滲透同埋擴張，俾我自己感覺到佢哋呢個選舉唔單止係一個本地嘅選舉，而係對抗中共嘅一個選舉。不過咧，佢呢個咁樣一個意識，一個選舉嘅理念咁崇高啦，咁佢點樣令到佢嘅選民都知道呢一件，從而可以投票俾佢咧？
So our host is saying that this is not just a local election; it's election against the global force, namely China. And how are you gonna express your manifesto to attract more votes to you?
That's a great question. So one thing that I see going on, and again, and I think Judy is indicative of this, is that at the federal level especially, we've lost a certain level of competency. We are in the situation we're in because we're spending too much money on the wrong things for bad results that are also due to incompetence. And I think if you just look at the war that's happening in Ukraine right now, I think one of the prime reasons why we're at war in Ukraine right now is because of the incompetence and the terrible way that we pulled out of Afghanistan. We did two things that we told bad guys all around the world: that one, we weren't going to support our friends, allies, and partners, and two, that we're a weak nation, and that and I know you got to get going, that we're a weak nation, and the fact is that means that other countries want to fill that void of power. So one of the things that we need to do is work with our friends, allies, and partners and increase our strength globally, so we enforce the global rules-based system. Sorry, I'm having a conversation with her. We enforce the rules-based international system because we built that system after World War II, and it's benefited the entire globe. And if somebody else like China takes over, they will impose a different order that's going to affect us, our way of life, and really it'll be bad for the entire planet.
佢話：我絕對同意你呢一個選舉咧係一個全球嘅，即係對抗一個全球嘅勢力嘅。咁呢一個中共啦，佢嗰個即係滲透啦係非常之犀利啦。咁我哋都係有目共睹嘅。咁呢一個因為咧我哋咧就過去用咗太多時間同埋呢個資源咧就係用錯地方啊，咁咧就令到咧我哋咧嘅美國自身嗰個國會咧嗰個效率啊減低，令到我哋不作為嘅就讓咧就係中共啊或者其他嘅惡勢力咧就係想去佔有呢一個即係所謂全球霸權嘅空間，咁佢哋喺呢一度就有機可乘啦。咁我就係要出嚟選，我哋係要即係要去攞翻呢一個即係權利啦，同埋啦點解我哋嘅不作為啦，大家可以睇到咧，就係令到呢一個烏克蘭啊就有個戰爭，就係因為我哋嗰個冇失去效率同埋不作為，令到咧我哋嗰個阿富汗嗰個即係撤兵咧，就係俾到世界嘅人去睇咧，我哋咧就根本啊就對我哋嗰個盟友係失信啊，同埋咧就係制衡唔到一啲壞嘅勢力，咁所以我哋咧係一定要去出嚟改變呢一樣嘢。
我哋祝福佢啦。其實佢哋共和黨裏有冇揾一啲明星可以幫佢哋做下勢咧？真係未見到川普先生或者 Pompeo 可以幫佢哋拉下票，即係令到佢哋嗰個關注度會更加多咧。
Okay, 呢個so the we from Hong Kong, we bless you. We wish you good luck.
And what a beautiful place Hong Kong is. I got to go twice. It's just amazing.
Thank you. And the host is asking if there are any celebrities on the Republican side to help us out, help you out, because say Trump and other prominent Republican celebrities if they would be able to help us in this.
My hope and my belief is that we'll come in once the primary is over. So right now, as you know, we're in the primary. That is going to be on the 7th of June. So please go out and vote if you can. Vote. The key is that we need to be at least second place on the ballot, and then then the real hard work begins, and enlisting those folks to help out will be one of the primary things that we bring into this, and really try to raise the profile of this race and really shine a light on the lack of representation that the 28th district has had in the last 13 years of really poor leadership, poor representation, and frankly incompetence.
佢就話咧，我哋希望啦，呢一個初選過後咧，嗰啲共和黨嘅明星啦，就會嚟幫手啦。因為咧，我哋依家咧即係呢個初選裏面都係有好多嘅即係對手嘅，咁咧係跑出頭嗰兩個咧，先至會去到呢個中期選咧，就係再嚟到一個 final round 咁樣嘅。咁就呢個咁所以咧，希望咧我希望咧到時係會發生啦呢樣嘢。咁如果我哋呢一個初期選啦，即係要希望咧就會做到個勢啦，希望做到即係有一個關注啦，令到啲人咧就出嚟要去投票，大家要出嚟投票啦咁樣樣。咁唔好坐喺度，咁好多謝各位香港係一個好靚嘅地方，我有機會一定會再去香港。
係啊，你同佢講，我哋祝福佢啊，祝佢好運啦，同埋我哋香港唔少嘅朋友好中意阿親，好中意川普。
Okay, we people from Hong Kong, we wish you, we bless you, we wish you well, we
Thank you.
Wish you good luck, and we love Trump.
Thank you very much.
多謝各位。One more 仲有我就係頭先我補充翻下漏咗就係話過去呢13年咧喺呢個28區嗰度咧趙美心咧係不作為，咁我要出嚟咧就係即係對抗趙美心咁樣嘅。